Just when Connor, disguised as a janitor, had nearly lost hope in his employees' kindness, an unexpected act of compassion changed everything. Isabel, a soft-spoken customer support worker, not only noticed him but insisted on helping, showing him warmth and respect without knowing his true identity. Her simple yet heartfelt kindness touched him deeply, sparking a realization that went beyond anything he anticipated. Connor knew this moment was pivotal, and he returned to his office with a life-altering plan. What he reveals next will shake the entire company to its core. But before we dive in, leave a comment and let us know where you are watching from today. And if this story speaks to you, hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories. Connor Hale was no ordinary CEO. Renowned for his savvy leadership and innovation, he had built his tech company, Bright Future Solutions, from a modest startup to one of the top firms in the industry. Employees knew him as a sharp, efficient boss who ran a tight ship. But for all the progress and profit the company boasted, something unsettled Connor. Lately, he'd started to feel out of touch with the people who powered his company. He was surrounded by reports and numbers, yet he couldn't shake the feeling that he didn't truly know his team anymore. Were they happy? Did they feel respected and appreciated? Or did they see themselves merely as cogs in a relentless machine? Having grown up in a working-class family, Connor was no stranger to hard work or humble jobs. In fact, it was those memories, of his mom working overtime as a janitor to support them, that led him to a bold idea. What if he walked in the shoes of a janitor for a week, right there in his own company, to see the real culture in action? It was an experiment, yes, but one with a deeper purpose: to understand the character and kindness of the very people who made his business thrive. One early Monday morning, Connor transformed. Dressed in a faded, oversized jumpsuit, complete with scuffed shoes and a cap pulled low to cover his face, he entered his building, pushing a janitor's cart. Even he could barely recognize himself in the grimy reflection of the elevator doors. His polished office life and pristine image were replaced with an unfamiliar anonymity, and he could feel his heart pound with the uncertainty of what lay ahead. The reactions were immediate. Most employees breezed past him without so much as a glance. A few nodded in passing, but their faces held little interest. He noticed something as he walked the halls. When you were dressed as the janitor, you became part of the background. And while he expected some level of coldness, the indifference from his own team was unsettling. Yet, he kept pushing the cart, emptying trash bins, mopping floors, and wiping down tables, all the while listening and observing as an unnoticed part of the environment he had built. On the third day, Connor decided to test how approachable he truly was in this role. As he wheeled his cart through the break room, he saw a group of employees chatting by the coffee machine. One of them was an ambitious junior developer named Eli, who Connor had recently recommended for a promotion. Eli glanced up, then quickly looked away, his face a mask of polite disinterest. As Connor cleaned the floors nearby, he overheard Eli make a snide comment. "You'd think they could hire younger janitors. This one barely keeps up with the mess." Laughter erupted from the group. Connor felt a pang of disappointment, yet he kept his head down, unwilling to break his cover. As the day wore on, Connor couldn't shake the disheartening thought that his company had perhaps strayed too far from its values. It wasn't until later that afternoon, while cleaning the windows in one of the smaller meeting rooms, that he encountered someone different. Isabel, a customer support associate known for her kindness, had walked in, earbuds in place and her head bobbing to an unheard rhythm. When she noticed Connor, she paused, pulling out her earbuds and smiling warmly. "Hi there. Need a hand?" she offered, glancing at the heavy bucket he was carrying. "Oh, no, thank you, miss," Connor mumbled, surprised and touched by her friendliness. But Isabel didn't take no for an answer. "Nonsense," she said, grabbing the bucket with a strength that belied her petite frame. "You look like you've been working non-stop. When's the last time you took a break?" Connor stammered. I'm fine, really. Just part of the job." But Isabel wasn't having it. She insisted he take a break and handed him a fresh cup of coffee from her own stash. "My grandmother was a janitor too," she said thoughtfully. "People sometimes ignore the real hard work behind the scenes. But I want you to know, I see and appreciate what you do here." Connor sipped the coffee, feeling a warmth he hadn't felt in a long time. In that moment, he realized he was seeing his company's values in action, not from someone high up, but from an employee who worked tirelessly in a role that wasn't often celebrated. Isabel's kindness struck him, and her genuine appreciation gave him a renewed sense of hope. But he wasn't ready to end his experiment just yet. The next day, Connor continued his rounds, this time with a heightened awareness of the atmosphere around him. He observed more employees, noting small gestures and conversations. While some were indifferent, others revealed surprising insights. However, Isabel's warmth stood out like a beacon. On his final day undercover, Connor felt a bittersweet satisfaction knowing he would soon reveal his true identity. That afternoon, he waited in the lobby, watching as Isabel clocked out. He approached her, keeping his head down, and handed her a small, folded note with a quiet thank you. She looked puzzled but took the note, tucking it in her pocket with a polite smile before heading home. The next morning, Isabel found herself summoned to the executive boardroom, a place she'd only ever walked by in awe. Her heart pounded as she entered, uncertain why she was there, and froze when she saw the CEO, Connor Hale, sitting at the head of the long table, smiling at her. "Mr. Hale," she stammered, eyes wide in surprise. Connor grinned, the same warmth from their encounter now evident but unmistakably confident. "Please, call me Connor," he replied, gesturing to a seat. Still reeling, Isabel sat down, confused but intrigued. Connor then relayed the story of his week as the janitor, detailing how he'd seen the company through a different lens and witnessed her kindness firsthand. "Isabel, your compassion in the break room, the way you valued every person regardless of their role, that's what Bright Future Solutions stands for," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "That's the type of leadership I want in my company." Then, he paused, letting the words sink in before sharing the twist. "That note I handed you wasn't just a thank you. It's a letter confirming your promotion to the role of team lead in customer relations, with an immediate pay increase. I've seen firsthand that you possess the character and empathy I want our company to be known for." Stunned, Isabel's hands shook as she held the letter, her eyes brimming with tears of disbelief and gratitude. She thanked Connor, and though she had questions, she could only manage a choked, "Thank you, Connor." The next day, Connor resumed his position as CEO, but now with a refreshed perspective and renewed commitment to the people behind his company's success. He knew that his employees would gradually hear the story of his janitor experiment, and he hoped it would inspire a ripple of change. The rumor spread fast, how the CEO himself had gone undercover as a janitor to test everyone's kindness. And one employee's simple act of empathy had not only impressed the boss but had earned her a significant promotion. The story became a powerful reminder within the company, fostering a culture of respect, compassion, and true team spirit. In the end, Connor's bold experiment wasn't just about discovering who his team really was. It was about setting a standard for the future, one where employees could feel valued beyond titles and wealth, a company with heart, inspired by a janitor's kindness.